Welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I have 5 beautiful laser cut projects that I am making using the Creality Falcon 2 40-watt laser. I'm so excited to show you these. So whether you're in the market for a laser, you just want to see some fun projects you can do with the laser, or you just want to hang out and watch me craft, I'm so glad that you are here. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. If you do like any of these projects, make sure to hit that thumbs up, but let's go make some DIYs. I love a good pumpkin stack to decorate with in the fall time, and I think this one turns out so cute. You guys are going to love this. So this laser is absolutely amazing. This is the Creality Falcon 2 laser, and it cuts so beautifully. And I'm using right now some MDF board that is just really thin. I'll leave the links to all of the products I use down in my description box, but it cuts through that MDF beautifully, and it is a little bit less expensive than wood. So if you're looking to do a high volume of products, it works perfect. So after I cut all the pieces out, I'm just using some spray paint to paint this particular project with here. I have all these little cute crows that I cut out, so I'm just hitting them with a little bit of black matte paint. And then I'm going to take this into my studio after I've spray painted everything to come and put it all together here. So you can see how this cuts out is you have each of the individual pumpkins and then their cute little ridges here. It adds a lot of detail to have all these 3D elements, and that is one thing that a laser is so good for. I did decide I didn't like the sheen that was on the orange, and so I just used the Pumpkin by Waverly's chalk paint, and I'm just sanding all of the ridges and all of the edges. The very tip top of my pumpkin that I decided to do white, I did decide to paint the stem green there, and then I just sanded all of that, made sure that I gave the same technique to all of the pieces to fit together. I'm just painting that cute little crow's beak orange there. I thought that would be super cute, but I also sand it as well. So now the fun part comes of putting all of the layers and all of the pieces together. I just really think it starts to take shape here. I just use any type of super glue. I believe the one I'm using here is the DAP brand. I just pick it up at Lowe's. I've used Gorilla Glue. I've used super glue from the dollar store. It all works very well. If you do have any tips as far as other glue that you have used, I'm always open to trying something new. So if you have used a different type of glue with your laser projects, let me know, because I would love to try some different types out. So you just want to make sure that you're not overdoing it with the glue, because you don't want anything to seep out or anything like that. But you can see how cute these colors are together. I think they're darling. I love these cute little crows with them. Now I got this cut file off of Etsy, and I'll leave that in the description box as well so you can see what I use there. Now I thought it would be really cute to add a little bit of different texture here to the pumpkin stack, so I'm just using some Spanish moss, and I just take a little bit, almost like I'm making a little nest there. I just thought that this was just going to be a little whimsical to have that texture coming out underneath where my little crows were going to sit. So once I get that, and just be careful when you're working with hot glue and Spanish moss, take my word for it, you can burn yourself very easily. I do that every time I go to push it down and realize, oh yeah, the glue can seep through this. I don't know why, it's just a lesson I've never learned, so I guess learn from me. But I just kind of trim it up to have it be not quite as shaggy, and then I do the same thing with the bottom crow. Now this file, all of your individual pumpkins fit on your cute little pumpkin stack background here, so they all fit together very nicely and very neat, and that way it holds them all together. And you can add any type of stand to the back of this, a hanger to the back of this. I love the fact that it's just a thin little piece I can slip into a shelving unit or somewhere to have that little bit of fall touch there, and it just tucks right in. I think this turned out so cute, and I love all of the distressing on it and all of those different elements. What do you guys think of this piece? Do you like this one? Laser cut signs are some of my most favorite projects to make with this laser, and the Falcon 2 does such a good job at cutting. It is by far the most favorite laser that I've worked with. When you get to the part that you lift up your designs like this, I love that, such a satisfying feeling to pick those up and see all of the clean cuts that everything comes. I've had different lasers in the past that have not had as clean of cuts as this, and I am so impressed with this machine and all of the little fine detail. You can see that little pumpkin that's right there, all of the little pieces of that. The barn I was really nervous with, and this particular sign with all the little, I'll show you in a minute, all the little ridges that it had, and this machine just did a fantastic job. Now I'm just using spray paint to spray paint all of the elements on this sign here. Sometimes that's the fastest, especially if you're doing a high volume, you're getting ready for a craft show, you're selling pieces on Etsy or something. You want to be able to do the quickest that you can, and spray paint by far will get the job done the quickest on these. If you're doing individual letters, I use a little bit of painter's tape down on my surface so the letters don't blow everywhere when you spray paint. So that's just a little tip or hack for you there. I had a lot of fun using this particular orange color in my fall decor last year, and so I'm excited to try some different oranges this year, but for this sign it works perfectly. Has a little bit of gloss or sheen to it, so it just kind of depends on the look that you're going for. You can see on that top pumpkin there, I did just tape off the vines because I will go back in and paint those vines green after that orange has completely dried. Now I love this color of green. It's almost like a gray green. It's very muted. It has a really good tone to it and it's really perfect. It's not kind of like a bright in-your-face green. And then for the surface of the sign, I'm just using some matte white here. This sign was a flat enough surface and not as much detail on it, so even just hand painting it, if you wanted to with just some chalk paint or acrylic paint, I feel like would probably be just as quick with the drying time that I had on the spray paint because it was such a larger area and I had so much surface to cover. So you just kind of make your best judgment on that one, but this one got the job done. So here you can see the vines that are left on this pumpkin there. So I'll just take some tape and tape off the orange part that I painted. I just made sure that that paint was completely dry because I don't want anything to peel off. And I just go back in with that same green that I painted the words with, so that way it will all coordinate together. And then when this is dry and you peel that back, you can see how absolutely it looks perfect there. I just think this is so cute. This sign is so cute put together, you guys. I absolutely love it. Now, this is just showing you the barn here, and you can see those little cuts in there that machine cut. I was so impressed with that. Now, for this barn color, I wanted it to kind of have a neutral tone, so I just took it into my studio, and I'm just using some antiquing wax with a baby wipe because I wanted this to have like a really rustic, natural look, and I thought antiquing wax on here, just using that baby wipe, just had it look like it was stained that color. I just really liked the way that it looked, and it kind of kept just that really natural tone. And I was just careful not to touch anywhere like where those little orange pumpkins were. So the best way to fit these signs together, I have learned, is to use your original cutout template like this. So I just set this down. You just want to make sure that you're not overusing your glue because you will glue the template down to your surface, which you obviously don't want. So I'm just putting a teeny bit of glue, and once you fit your first piece in, it will kind of hold that template there, and everything just fits in just like a puzzle piece. It's actually quite satisfying when you glue these and place them in, how nicely they all fit together, and the reveal at the end is always really fun and really nice. So I'm just using a little bit of that super glue on each of these pieces here, and I just gently place each of them in. Again, just being careful not to get glue onto the actual template itself. Now, this is why this particular laser is so nice, is because you don't have any like wood where it doesn't maybe cut all the way through and you have like splintered wood or anything like that. This machine is fantastic for getting these perfect cuts, so you are able to use your template like this to glue all of these pieces together. And so here's the reveal. When you pull up that sign, you just gently do it so you're not pulling anything up, and look at how cute. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. And when you put this frame on it, it just makes it. I just think this is such a darling sign. This template came from Etsy, and I will also leave the link to that down in my description box. So I'm just going around the edge of the sign rather than putting it on the frame, because I want it this way I can kind of control where the glue is and make sure that frame fits really nicely. And once I get that positioned exactly right, then I'll push down to get that really secure bond. Now, if you want to hang this sign, this would be totally optional. You could add any type of hanging device on the back of it to hang it with, but I thought it would be cute to have this little twine here. So I'm just tying a knot in one end, and then I just kind of measure where I want my twine to be. The same thing, cut that off, and I'll tie a knot in the other end. And then I'm just going to use I just end up using hot glue just to glue this onto the back, so that way you can hang this sign, because I thought it was just darling to be able to hang. But if you had like a sawtooth hanger or something, you could easily do that, or a D-rings or something like that would be really cute too. And so you can just see just a couple little spots of hot glue to glue that into place. You'll just leave this sign face down until that glue completely dries and cures, and then you're left with an absolutely beautiful sign. You would totally find this in a boutique. You would have people pay really good money for this at a craft fair. This machine does such an amazing job cutting out these letters and these pieces. I just love this. I think this is so fun. And so if you're thinking of doing a business or you're wanting to get involved in having a laser, I would definitely check this out. All the links are going to be down in my description box for you. I wanted to do a couple of projects with a thicker material here so you could see the cutting power of this machine. I have a lot of scrap MDF left over from projects I've done, and so I love cutting projects out with this laser because it does make such easy, quick work of cutting through this thicker material. This is MDF board. It is 3/4 inch, and I'll put my specifications down in such as like the power, the speed, and how many passes that it's doing, so you have all of that, and then you can kind of have a starting point and see what works best for you and your climate and everything. But I've had such a good success with cutting through this MDF. And then for the top pieces, you can see I've switched to a smaller piece here. The top accent pieces, the embellishments, I do with a thinner piece, so that way you're not left with a super overly chunky piece. So you'll see kind of how everything pieces together as I finish this particular project here. So now I'm taking this into my studio, and I decided to hand paint all of these pieces rather than do spray paint, just because of the color choices that I wanted to use. I didn't really have in my spray paint selection, so that's why we're doing this. So I just have, this is just pumpkin chalk paint here, and I do a couple of coats of this on here, and I'm just careful when I go over the edge on these that I'm not having it go over onto that laser cut edge, because I do like the crisp, clean look of that laser cut on there. Now I'm going to show you guys a little hack. If you've watched my laser videos before, you've seen this, and I love giving this hack because you can use it on any laser cut project, not one you've done yourself, but maybe one you've purchased. Take your Cricut weeding tool, and after you paint it, you can go in all of those little detailed pieces like this that the paint kind of gets down into, and it cleans them out so easy and so well. I love this little hack, and it works so nice because a lot of us have a weeding tool for something. A needle or pin would work too, but I just grab this and it works really well. So now I'm just going through and painting each of these little pieces the colors that I want them. I did the little center of my sunflower a black color. My leaves here I'm doing like a sage green, and then I'm doing the same little hack with this to get all of those detail from the laser cut there, so that way you can see all of that detail, because you want all that there. I mean, it's so neat that these machines can add that detail. You want it to really shine and showcase it. So I'm just carefully doing the stem and the little leaf that are attached to the pumpkin there, making sure that I have a nice clean line between where that stem ends and the pumpkin begins, so that way it doesn't look sloppy or anything like that. I'm just taking this cute little crow and I'm giving him a nice little beak here. I'm just using an orange color. Yellow would work, yellowish orange, whatever. I just stuck with the orange color to kind of match the pumpkin tone there. So it takes a couple coats on that black paint to get it as dark as I want it. So I just let it dry in between each coat there. So I really feel like this is what takes this project to the next level. I am using my fingernail file, which I love these fingernail files, but I'm just using this to sand all of the edges here to give it a really distressed look. And as cute as it is to leave it with that light color of wood showing behind, what I end up doing is taking some antiquing wax, and I take it on a baby wipe because it looks more like a stain, and you can really get it where you want when you do it this way. Like as far as how you're rubbing it on, you're not going to get too much or anything. And I go around all of those sanded edges, and that bare wood will just soak up that antiquing wax and have it look really aged, almost like a primitive type look. And then I do this around all of the pieces. So this whole pumpkin, I will do it around the stem, everything on here, and then I will do the same with the antiquing wax. I will get just a little bit on my baby wipe and just go around those. I just feel like this adds just that really cute custom touch to it, something that you necessarily don't always get in store-bought items, but something that's handmade that you would. And again, you can see all the little pieces. I'm just doing that same method with each of those, sanding them so that way they all look cohesive, they all look like they go together, and it looks super cute in the end. I'm excited to show you how this all looks together. So just using my super glue, I'm going to glue all of these little embellishing pieces on here. Now, because this pumpkin is cut out of the thicker wood, it will stand up on its own, which is just awesome. And so you don't have to worry about having anything like to hang it with or anything like that. So that's one benefit of being able to cut out these thick pieces of material like this. Now I'm just going to add all of these little pieces. You just put them together, just kind of like a puzzle piece here. And you can see that cute little center of that sunflower. It just makes it. I just absolutely love it. It's almost like a waffle print to the center of the sunflower. And it's just so cute, the detail. And then I'm going to glue our cute little crow down there. And I think he just looks so cute. Now I did cut, the file that I purchased came with 2 different sizes of pumpkin. So this pumpkin's a little bit taller. I cut it out of the same material, that MDF, and then I thought I would paint it this wonderful ice blue color. Now we have pumpkins at our farm that are this color, and I'm showing you here how when it dries, how it gets a little bit darker. But this matches the exact pumpkins that we grow at our farm. And I did the exact same process with that one, just did it in a blue color. And look at how cute they are together. This is definitely something that you would see at craft fairs, you would see sold on Etsy, you see on Pinterest, you see at vintage market days, you see at like actual boutiques. Like, these are absolutely beautiful, and to be able to have the capability to create something like this, if you're wanting to start a store or anything like that, definitely look into this laser machine because it is amazing and the products that you can make are absolutely beautiful. This was just a really quick thing I decided to throw together. It is just off of my last project. It is one of the birds that I just enlarged, but I thought this would be so cute just to have as just a little decor piece that you could have. And I thought on this thicker wood, it would be able to stand on its own. So it's just the little crow. And so I just thought it would be really cute and fun to decorate this. I did some birds in my last laser video and then on my channel, just in one of my normal videos, and everybody went nuts for how cute they turned out. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of do a fall take on those. So you can see here, I'm just trying to do this one-handed, but when you lift this up, like how easy this comes out. It's a little thicker, so you have to use just a little bit of pressure to put that through, but look at how perfect that cut is. And again, this is 3/4 inch MDF board, and it cuts really well through that. I mean, like butter. And then I did just spray paint it black there, just with some matte black spray paint, just to get the base coat of my cute little crow there. And then I'm just taking a little bit of pumpkin orange here and just painting his little beak there. It takes a couple of coats to get that as dark as I want. Now I'm using this stencil. This is the exact stencil I used on my prior birds that I did. And it just takes me a minute to kind of spin this around and determine what angle I want, what part of the design I want on the bird. I didn't want anything going over his beak. And so I was just cautious. I'm kind of covering that area with my thumb there because I didn't want it to kind of go up that far onto his head or his beak. And I just use like a little tapping motion or a swirl motion. Just be careful not to overload your brush with paint. You just have a small amount on there because you just don't want any seepage. But look at how cute. I think it honestly looks like his cute little wing there, like he's got a cute little collar on. I don't know. I just thought that it turned out really cute, and I thought the placement ended up really well. Now I love using emery boards for all of my sanding because they get into these little areas. Look at how easy that is able to get in between his little tail feathers there. I just think this is so fun. And I think that this gives it a really rustic look. You could easily not distress it and it would still look good. I honestly would still sand the edges a little bit just to give it a little finished look. But I go over the stencil here to have that little faded rustic look. That's definitely my taste. And I know not everybody is specific to that taste or like that taste. So that, again, it's a matter of personal preference. And when you start selling your projects, you'll see that some people really like it, some people don't. And so maybe you'll offer both options. But he turns out so cute, and he'll be so fun to just kind of tuck in with some cute little displays of pumpkins in my decor or for anyone's home. Do you guys like this little guy? Let's name him, you guys. Leave a name for this little guy down in my comments. I saved this particular project for last because it ends up being like over the top, high end, in my opinion. I love how this turns out. So this machine is so nice because you can cut all of these little teeny detailed pieces out, and you'll see there's so many little pieces to this, but it just cuts them out so easily and wonderfully. And when I go to check and lift up my template there, that everything is cut with exact precision, and it's so nice. And the amount of passes that I have to take with this machine compared to other lasers I have used is so few, and you get such great results. So now I'm just showing you when that's done, you just slide the laser back there and I can pull up this cutout template here. and everything cuts out just absolutely perfect, which when you're trying to work quickly is such, like, you definitely want precision and you want to not have to redo things because it's time and money for you. So now we're going to go ahead and paint this all up here. I'm just using some antiquing wax on the round that I cut out. You can use whatever type of round. The template that I purchased did come with one that you could cut out, or it tells you the size, I guess, that you can cut out. But you can buy rounds at your hardware store. I don't know why that was hard for me to think of. Hardware store, Dollar Tree, but definitely you can cut them out so easily with your machine. Now I wanted to keep this as natural as I could, but sometimes with laser you'll get a little bit of a scorch mark here or there. You can sand those off very easily. I've also heard rubbing alcohol takes those away. I haven't tried that hack yet, so that will be coming. I will try that. But I just used a cashew color because it was very close to this natural color of wood, just on a baby wipe, and I just went over this so that way it did have a finished look and it was all the same color. So I just wanted to show you for the outline here that I did that with the cashew. You could leave it a natural color if you wanted to, but I just went with more of a natural color of paint rather than leaving it as like raw wood. So I'm just using a little bit of the super glue to paste, oh my goodness, you guys, to glue this down, and I'm getting this positioned first, and then all of the little pieces just fit in here just like a puzzle. In fact, my daughter was watching me as I was doing this, and she was like, this is the most satisfying thing to watch all of this come together, and it truly is. Now, you guys have seen me paint before. I must have not had my camera recording when I painted the leaves there, but I mean, it's just basic painting that you do on your pieces. I painted the little pumpkin ridges white, and then I did like a darker orange, a light orange, a reddish color, and then some green, brownish green for the leaves and the stems. So just whatever color scheme you're going for. The file that I bought, I really liked the colors on them, so I tried to do it as close as I could. And those files, again, all of them are going to be linked down in my description box for you, so you can have a look at those. And then it's just so much fun getting all of these to fit in, and they fit in so well. Now I'm taking my template here from the cutout so that way I can get all of the letters exactly where they need to be, because otherwise I can't keep things straight. And it's a good thing too, because I go to glue this H in and realize it's not fitting because it was upside down. And I probably never would have noticed that, and it probably wouldn't have been a big deal, but it's one of the benefits of using the template when you're doing this. So you just want to make sure you're not using too much glue, so that way you're gluing the template to your base sign either, because I'm speaking from experience that has happened to me before. So I'm just going to peel this back here. Oh my gosh, you guys, like, do you love this? I just think it's so beautiful. Now, I've done this DIY with this wreath on my channel. I can link that video down below if you want to see how I made this wreath. And I had another sign there, but I'm upgrading to this one because it's so beautiful and I love it so much. So my thought was I have to somehow get it hooked on here. So I have these little, I cut these out also. They're just like to hang for signs to put on the back, that you could put some little twine on there or wire to hang them, or just hang them like off of a nail. My kids thought they looked like giant olives, which I honestly thought was hilarious because they're exactly right. They do. But I'm just using some glue to glue these down onto the back. I glue one facing. You can kind of see how I face them here. And I'm going to use zip ties through these. So when the glue dries on these, I'm going to place zip ties through the little hole on there and wrap it around my wire wreath there. So I'm just going to pull those as tight as I can to keep that sign in place. Now this wreath has been on my door for the last 2 years with a different sign on there. I am so excited to change it up this year with this sign. Look at how beautiful. Oh, I just love this. And again, that video will be linked down in my description box if you want to see how I made the actual wreath part there. And then once you get all of your zip ties secured and everything where you want, I just go in with some scissors and I just trim off the excess of those zip ties. And they do such a wonderful job to hold things in place there. So it's not going to come loose. It's not going anywhere. But this wreath is stunning. Like, I love this. This is so high end. I mean, you would pay over $100 for something like this. I mean, if you were to buy it in a store. It's beautiful. I just think it turned out so well. I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on this. And I love it. I think it's just so great. This just makes me so excited to change my summer stuff on my porch out to fall and have this hanging on my front door, because it is going to absolutely just make my porch this fall. Thank you so much for joining me today to watch these laser projects. It is always so fun to create some beautiful high-end DIYs. Thank you so much to Creality and the Falcon 2 Laser for partnering with me for this video. These projects are so beautiful. You guys let me know your favorites down in the comments. I always love to see which one of the items you spoke to your heart the most. And again, all of the links for the Falcon 2 Laser will be down in my description box, as well as any files or other products that I used today in today's video. So thank you again so much for joining me. I'll see you next time, guys. Happy crafting! If you liked the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.